Well, I wanted to mention something that I have found very helpful and have been doing more of, I would say, over the last half year to year. And we've spoken about it before, but I thought I would make another video about it and start by letting you know a lot of you probably missed this. This past or last Friday, I had a great conversation with Alex Kahn, who has a YouTube channel. I'll put a link above as well as below to the conversation I had with Alex, um, where we just were talking about basically like practical manifesting advice and tying it in with self-improvement and how to make your personal practice of these ideas non-dogmatic so you can utilize these tools more effectively and subjectively in your own life. Really enjoyed that conversation with Alex. And if you like this channel, I think you'd probably enjoy it too. But one of the things we spoke about was just meditation. And like many of us, Alex was just saying how he's, tried so many different forms of meditation. And we were both kind of talking about how, often it seems like meditation is not necessarily as fulfilling as some people make it sound, right? And I think that one of the real issues for a lot of people who quote unquote try to meditate is that they don't feel fulfilled by it. I wrote about this way back in 2015 in my short Neville inspired guide called Mindful Manifestation. I'll put a link below to Mindful Manifestation if you've never read that. But yeah, I mean, meditation is a hugely popular topic to discuss, and it's at the same time such like a vague term, and there are so many different ways to meditate, so many different types of meditation that like it hardly means anything unless you have a specific angle or approach that you want to take towards it. And one of the things that Alex and I were discussing is just like, well, you got to figure out what works for you. And one thing that I've noticed is that when it comes to a lot of these manifesting ideas and like meditating as a technique, for instance, like you could say that like a lot of Neville's techniques, like SATs, like, you close your eyes and you get into that state akin to sleep. That's like a meditative state. That's a form of meditation. But what I found for a lot of people, and again, Alex and I were talking about this some, is that like you close your eyes, you relax, and your mind goes all over the place. And Neville and a lot of these other great law of assumption, law of attraction teachers talk about ways to refine your imagination, refine your visualization, so you can kind of direct your mind more in the way you want to go. However, the truth of the matter is that this refinement of the imagination when you're in a meditative state does not work well for a lot of people, and a lot of people give up because it just doesn't really align with their sensibilities, which is totally understandable. The point of all these ideas, again, is to get what works for you to work for you, to find tools that work for you. And one thing that I have found works well for a lot of people when they find that they can't meditate in a way that feels fulfilling to them is to simplify it, to make it easier for them. And something we've spoken about a lot is, just sitting there, allowing yourself just to sit there with zero pressure on yourself to like do anything, to try to visualize a specific scene, for instance, right? Just allow yourself to literally sit on the couch or in a comfortable chair or to lie in bed and just sit there and allow yourself to be. We talk about this a lot, but something else that you can do while you're doing that I personally have found very helpful recently, meaning, over the last year or so, is like I often now don't close my eyes when I meditate. I literally will just sit somewhere and be sitting there. And there's plenty of videos of me doing this. I'll put a link above to a seminar I did where we went in detail about this. And, I say in that seminar, you can just sit with your eyes closed or your eyes open. But what a lot of people find is like when their eyes are closed, their mind starts to drift more. And you might not want your mind to drift more. You might actually want to just be more present. And the way to be more present and more, I would say like grounded into the present moment often is just to sit, relax your body, and keep your eyes opened. Keep those peepers open. Jeepers creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? Keep those peepers open. A lot of people who feel like their meditation is, unfulfilling or kind of like all over the place because they start seeing all these images or thinking of all these random things, are going to find perhaps more fulfillment and just feel more gratified, certainly more grounded by keeping their eyes open. So again, we relax the body. Perhaps we set an intention beforehand, right? Like I talk about in Money Your Friend, my recent book, in that book I talk about setting an intention or writing a statement, something you want, right? Beforehand, writing that down, saying it out loud, maybe closing your eyes for a moment and thinking about it. And then, that's all you have to do. You can let that go completely. You can open your eyes and then spend 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes just sitting there. Not trying to think hard about your intention or think hard about anything. Just allow yourself to sit there, keep your eyes open, keep those peepers open. And if you do that, you have an incredibly straightforward, simple approach to meditation. You're just sitting there. Relaxed body, relaxed mind. Your mind, again, I always talk about this, but your thoughts might be all over the place still. You're physically, your legs might be shaking or achy, or, your stomach might hurt, or you might have a little bit of a headache or whatever. But the point is you can still just be there, relaxed. You can relax into that, relax into the potential physical discomfort or mental discomfort. And a lot of times there's not going to be any of that discomfort. There might be thoughts like, this is really boring, I'm wasting my time. But you know what? You can still just, here I am sitting, eyes opened. Eyes open meditation is very good like this, I think, for a lot of people. And I want to mention, one of my favorites, W. Clement Stone. I'll put a playlist above of some of the videos we've done about W. Clement Stone and his success indicator. Stone, as a habit, would often or regularly, he would get home, and it would be often late at night, and he would have a pen and paper. And again, he would write down something he wants and pros and cons, but the key is he'd write down something he wants, right? Let's just keep it simple. You don't even have to do that, but this is what Stone would do. He'd write down something he wanted, and then he would have the lights on, even though it was late at night. He'd keep his eyes open to stay awake, and he would just sit there and see what comes up in his subconscious, imaginatively, in regards to his intention. And he'd write pros and cons or ideas regarding that intention from doing that. That's the success indicator of W. Clement Stone. So very similar to what we're talking about. But I'm also saying you don't even have to set an intention. If you just want to explore a very simple way to ground yourself and to meditate, just sit down, take a few deep breaths to calm yourself, and just sit. Eyes open. And you can set a timer. Do it for 10 minutes. Or maybe the first day just do it for 5 minutes if 10 minutes seems too long. Then the next day do it for 10 minutes. Then extend it for 15 minutes. If you can get up to 15 minutes of just sitting there with your eyes open, relaxed with the feelings, going through your body, relaxed with the thoughts going through your head, whatever they may be, not judging them, just being like, oh, here they are, no problem. I'm just sitting here meditating with my eyes opened. If you can do that for 15 minutes and you make a practice of doing that, say for a week in a row, I bet you get something from that. And, again, I've spoken about this in many places, but I thought this would be a helpful reminder. And talking to Alex the other day, again, underscored the point as to why this can be so helpful. If you ground yourself in this way, meditate in this way, and also are, just interested and curious and believe in some of these various LOA ideas and concepts and principles, that's enough to get the ball rolling for you to start feeling better inwardly and for you to see outward change in your life. Just by doing that, believe it or not, in my opinion. And this also directly has to do like what we've been talking about recently, like with Richard Dotz and, reading from Dollars Flow to Me Easily about like unplugging from the power supply, realizing that really the abundance you want, the peace you want, the love you want is right here, right now. We just have to sink into it. We can have our eyes open. We don't have to visualize it being somewhere else. It's right here. We sink into the now. We subtract all the crap off the top that is just hiding what's already here, which is right now, which is already fine, which is already, I think you may discover, what you want in a strange but obvious way once you experience it. The abundance of right now, the love of right now, the peace of right now. It's already here. So this is directly connected with that too. Powerful stuff. Jeepers creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? So eyes open meditation, consider it. If you have questions, or if you would like to talk to me on the phone or Zoom briefly to discuss this more in depth one-on-one, I can be reached at info@radicalcounselor.com.